Hello everyone, it's Tania Gabrielle here, Wealth Astro-Numerologist. Welcome to Star Codes, the forecast where we look at an upcoming celestial events. We look at the astrology and numerology, and in this case, it's the Libra full moon. This Libra full moon is incredibly exciting. There is really a turning point aspect to it. So it is exact on April 16th at 7:55 p.m. Universal Time. That's 2:55 p.m. Eastern and 11:55 a.m. Pacific. And Libra always is about the scale, about the balances. So there is a turning point aspect to the sign itself because you're balancing energies, and that results in you making conscious choices, hopefully, about what to do less of, who to spend more time with, less time with, what to focus on, or what not to focus on and eliminate from your life. And this is all to bring the energy into a place where there is harmony, balance, equilibrium. So Libra does govern relationships. It governs everything to do with beauty, art, and peace because of the ruling planet, Venus. It governs justice, the scales of justice, creativity, love, romance, relationships, dating, cooperation, counseling, and advising. And so every full moon in Libra, which happens once a year, is an opportunity to put ourselves into other people's shoes and understand where they are coming from. And of course, self-awareness is the starting point for conscious awareness about how other people might be feeling, given that we haven't walked in their shoes. So we have to use compassion in a big way. And so this full moon in Libra will help you to become conscious and present in your relationships. It will help everyone understand each other better, including how we might project stuff onto others, unresolved fears, things that we are still frustrated about, things that happen to us that we're totally not even conscious of. And so to help with that awakening and compassion generating part of this full moon, the sun and moon are both square to Pluto in Capricorn. And that creates a powerful T-square. So Pluto will be at 28 degrees in Capricorn, and the sun and moon are at 26 degrees. The moon at 26 degrees Libra, the sun at 26 degrees Aries opposite the moon. These are all cardinal signs of action, of new beginnings. The cardinal signs begin our seasons. So Libra begins autumn, Aries begins the spring, Capricorn begins the winter, and Cancer begins the summer. So when the sun moves into those signs, we change seasons. So now we have this full moon at 26 degrees, and it's forming a T-square to Pluto. Now Pluto is also about change, just like the change of seasons are reflected by those four cardinal signs. Pluto represents transformation and change. The T-square basically puts things into action. Like you can't run away from what is appearing or what you're neglecting to look at. So this can test your strength, your willingness to purge, your resilience, and really it's the willingness to purge that is the most important aspect of this, because you can see more clearly where you are out of balance in regards to any of these emotional attachments that you have, and you can make corrections and you can regain equilibrium. This full moon is incredibly cleansing because of the T-square to Pluto, and it may bring up unresolved power struggles because Pluto governs power, and bring those to a head because of the tightness of the T-square. 28 degrees and 26 degrees are very close to each other. So this is an amazing opportunity for you to become aware of these mostly unconscious motivations, your habits, your thought patterns that are basically looping in your mind. Because your heart, when you go to the heart, there is no such thing as attachment. The mind gets attached. The heart feels and connects through compassion. The heart does not create these attachments. And so this ability to become aware of these unconscious motivations, these habits, these thought patterns, right, these loops, is what creates the transformation that Pluto is literally activating with this T-square. Now, Libra, because of bringing things into balance, the shadow side of Libra can be to be perfectionistic, never being satisfied that things are not in perfect balance. So perfection is something that we crave in order to be accepted, because when we feel like we've done something perfectly, then, hey, you know, nobody can say no to us because we're the bomb, we're good. But wanting perfection, that wanting of it, that desire, it denies and abandons, and it basically rejects the heart. It rejects creation itself, because creation is not perfect. Creation is an ongoing process, right? The four seasons continue and continue, and the trees blossom in different ways, and the wildlife and the flowers and everything has its cycles, and there's no perfection about it. It just is living, it's creating. So when you want perfection, you set out to prove something to your mind. This has nothing to do with the natural flow of creativity and compassion, which resides in the heart. And in fact, perfection shuts down that process, that shuts down the heart-centered connection. So you're out to prove something to people, and the way you do that, hence the title of this podcast, is through comparison and through competing. So we want to look now at the balance, because you can't bring things into balance when you are comparing or competing. There's always going to be someone who is, in your eyes, better or lesser than. When you are ashamed of yourself for not living up to these expectations that were put on you through the competition and the comparison game that is part of the society that you and I were raised in, you then hold that in, right? You're not even cognizant of the fact that you feel ashamed that you don't live up to these expectations. So then what happens is you project your perfectionistic tendencies onto others. So you have these expectations you hold everyone else up to, especially those that are close to you. They can't live up to them either, and that's how judgment then starts, right? Eventually it comes to a head. So wanting to be perfect is something that really needs to be looked at, in that if you feel that you don't stack up in relation to the expectations that arise externally, it's because you've been compared to others, you've compared yourself to others, they've compared you to others since school, when teachers were praising some students and not others, grades, accomplishments, sporting events, other events, any competition. At home with your siblings, you try to get attention, there's a competition there, and then later on, possibly with the siblings, there's competition with, you know, what you've accomplished in life. At work with colleagues, even with friends, there can be competition. You know, who has this and who doesn't have that, whatever the case may be. We create groups, we create categories, and we basically separate ourselves. Just know the universe has no expectations for you. It's only us, because of our conditioning, that can be so challenging, where we then are so hard on ourselves for not living up. Like we feel always like, oh, we failed. I didn't do this as well as I can. And then you get to you're getting to the end of your life, and you look at your life, and there are many regrets, but they're only because of these judgments that have been set up. Like, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this good enough, or you weren't a good enough, parent or whatever. So it's really important to not feel like you are competing, proving something. And so the second part of that is when we look, for example, now at the transits that are happening during the Libra full moon, aside from that T-square with Pluto, we have a conjunction of Uranus and Mercury, and that really uplifts us. That is happening in Taurus, and it literally is merging the higher mind with the lower mind, the practical with the inspirational. And it's a great opportunity to really step out of those thoughts that are on the hamster wheel, that are just regurgitating all the time, the looping that goes on all life long. So just to know, you are not those thoughts, okay? The only thing that you have to do in this lifetime is to get inspired. And so that's one thing. The second thing is that the two rulers of the signs that the sun and moon are in, Libra for the moon and Aries for the sun, are Venus and Mars. And Venus and Mars are currently both in Pisces during this full moon. And that's also important because Pisces is the final sign. It literally represents the spiritual connection to the universe, to source, to the divine, to God. And it is our invitation to totally dissolve everything. That's what Pisces does. It dissolves in order for us to be at one with all. And the shadow side of Pisces is to hide, to ignore, to put a veil up and live in la la land, right? So that's what we don't want either. So it is important to really understand the importance of the Piscean impact on this Libra full moon, not only because Venus and Mars are the rulers of Aries and Libra, but because a couple days or 4 days before this full moon, we have Jupiter and Neptune, really the co-rulers of Pisces, coming together in a conjunction. And you can listen and watch my Star Codes podcast about that very, very important moment. It is creating such an opening for compassion and heart-centered awareness. And it literally happens 4 days before the full moon, as I said. So it is very much still active during the Libra full moon. So there's a huge Piscean impact here. And if there's anything that Pisces can help us do, it is to allow things to heal and cleanse, and to not emotionalize. Full moons can be very emotional. If you hold on to something that is painful, you will project that onto the next person you meet, the next friend you make, the next lover, the next colleague. And so you hold that pain within you, and it has to go somewhere. So if it's not fully healed, if it's not dealt with, you automatically hold it against anyone else who comes into your life who hasn't, done anything to receive that frustration from you. So really, it's important to understand that the law of cause and effect is very much in play. Also with Saturn. Saturn is squaring the nodes during this full moon. And the nodes are in Taurus. The North Node is in Taurus. The South Node is in Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Pluto's in that T-square to the sun and moon. This is big. This is really a moment to come to grips with how you live your life and how you think about your life and how you think about others, and really observe it, right? The bringing to balance part is to watch your thoughts, to observe, to become aware, to wake up. So we have an amazing opportunity here. And the 26 degrees too is important because not only are we in Libra, the balances, but 26 reduces to 8. And 8 is the infinity symbol and is also about balance. This is about balance of energy, of strength. Pluto represents power. So there's a lot of powerful forces in play now, and they will be tugging at you to activate empowerment and deactivate disempowering yourself through ignorance. So there's really an incredible opportunity here to wake up and step out of the old habits and paradigms that really are in your mind and step into this place. That's why having so many planets in Pisces is so lovely for this Libra full moon this time around. So I hope you enjoy this amazing full moon. And remember, you too have a star code. You have Libra on your chart. You have Aries in your chart, Taurus, Scorpio. You have Pluto, all the planets. And you have a code as well that's based on your birthday and your birth certificate name. And I've created a free masterclass for you at starcodeclass.com where you can discover the meaning of your star code. And this is amazing information. In fact, it's not even information. It is wisdom, the wisdom of the stars, the wisdom of your destiny, your purpose, your expression, what numbers are important to you, right? And you can see it in other people's lives as well. Their star code, their numbers code, the letters in their name, what they mean. And so enjoy all of that wonderful wisdom in the free masterclass at starcodeclass.com. Have a beautiful Libra full moon, and I will see you in next week's Star Codes podcast. Lots of love.